Thanks for tuning in, but just remember, I am not a financial professional. Therefore, it is highly recommended that you always seek professional advice before making major financial decisions, or at the least, do your own research before making any financial decisions. Information I provide is based on personal knowledge and experience. Otherwise, information I obtain from experts will be cited. Hey, I'm Jessica Nicole McLaurin, and welcome to Free Friday. That's FFRE for Faith, Finance, and Real Estate. So before I go into credit card debt consolidation, I wanted to share my heart just for a moment. At the beginning, or near the beginning of 2022, I shared on Facebook a testimony that my husband and I paid off all of our credit card debt earlier than expected. We paid it off by January 2022. Well, just before then, especially because I knew we were about to pay off all of this credit card debt, I quit my full-time job just as a leap of faith to pursue entrepreneurship as far as being a full-time real estate agent, as well as spending time working mine and my husband's plan for our real estate investment company. So I took that leap of faith. Now, here we are 2 years later, and I don't regret quitting my job at all, but my husband and I would certainly agree that we would have done some things differently, including embracing patience, embracing our process, whatever that looked like, and just embracing the scenic route. So, and I will say, even at the last Sunday morning service at my church for 2023, my pastor declared that this year, 2024, this year we will not bypass the process. And that is exactly where my husband Mike and I are at in our lives, that this time, we will not bypass the process. So I'm sharing this with you because, my husband and I, neither one of us are quick to share our personal business, but he agreed that it was okay for me to share this because I want you to know that we have not arrived financially. We have not arrived. And I know that this can, bring on judgment. I do risk judgment. But one thing I'm learning about God is that He will grace a person to help others, even in areas that they themselves have not fully arrived. And so I want you to know that we have not fully arrived at our financial dreams, and we have our own journey to go through. And I just want to encourage you to go through it with us. I guess you can say I have a heart to share this because I want to be able to help based on our own experiences, based on our own lessons learned. And so that's why I'm sharing this with you. With that said, though, what we would have done differently is 2 years ago, what we would have done differently would be before I left my job. We would have not only paid off the credit card debt, but we would have paid off any remaining debt, including student loans. And aside from paying off all the debt, we would have also built upon the savings we already had, the personal savings, but also we would have went ahead and built the capital for our business. And so instead of rushing off of my job, I would have endured longer, stayed put, paid off all debt, and built capital before diving into those business endeavors. And that's where we are now, my husband and I. Before we dive deeper into any other endeavors, we're choosing to go through the process this time, to take the scenic route. And so with that said, regarding credit card debt, that credit card debt that we once eliminated, we've built back up. Just from business lessons that are expensive, as priceless as the lessons learned are, those business lessons can be expensive. But also just and the credit card debt that we once eliminated, we've now built back up. Not exactly to that same amount. It's not as much as in the past, but we have built it back up. And so we are now determining that we're going to go through the process, take our time, whatever our process looks like, and we're going to pay that off. And my hope and prayer is that as you hear my words, that you yourself are encouraged. If you are finding yourself under a lot of debt, if you're finding yourself with your own dreams and financial dreams and goals, but it's like you're just held back because of where you are financially, I'm hoping that as you hear me put ourselves out there, that you yourself are encouraged to know that you're not alone in your journey, that you're not alone, and that you'll be encouraged to start today, if you hadn't already started, with paying down debt, with just going through whatever process that is for you to get to that financial freedom and peace that you're hoping and praying and looking for. So now on to credit card debt consolidation. Obviously, if we've paid our credit card debt off before, we can do it again. But this time we decided to do something differently. The first time we used the snowball method, where we paid all of our minimum balances, and the credit card with the lowest balance, we paid more on that minimum balance. And then once that credit card was paid off, whatever we paid toward that credit card, we put on the next lowest credit card. And obviously that's a snowball effect that I'm sure some of you, if not many of you, have heard of. So that's how we did it the first time. This time, what we decided to do, in an effort to raise our credit score again, because admittedly, to see that credit card debt increase more and more, and therefore see our credit scores, mine particularly, decrease more and more. And I say that just because I'm keeping up with mine as far as what my score is. To see it decrease more and more, that hurts. So in an effort to help out our credit scores, because we are both of our names are on all of our credit cards, what we decided to do was consolidate that credit card debt. Now, not consolidate all of our debt, which, I've heard of that before, but just basically consolidating solely our credit card debt through a personal loan, through a financial institution. Now, I'm not going to name the financial institution, but just because I want you to be able to do your own research, and if you decided to take this route, I want you to be able to do your due diligence without you being persuaded as to any institution. But I will say that bank finance institutions are not just brick and mortar. You have those that are purely digital. And so anyway, I will also say that we did shop for personal loans on Credit Karma. A lot of people are familiar with Credit Karma. If you downloaded the app, or if you just go online to the website, and if you have your own profile, I'm sure you yourself have seen where you can shop credit cards, or you can shop this or shop that. And so what we decided to do was to shop the personal loans on Credit Karma. And I was looking at the interest rate. Was the interest rate of that personal loan lower than the standard rates of our credit cards? I was looking at the monthly payment. When I think about the total monthly payment of all the credit card payments we were paying, did that equal that monthly payment of the personal loan? Or was the personal loan monthly payment more? Would it put more of a strain to pay? More of a strain on us to pay it. Also, what else was I looking at? those two things, especially the interest rate and the monthly payment amount. Now, let me say this. We requested a personal loan amount of the amount we needed. We did not request for more, just the amount we needed. Because obviously the goal is to pay the credit card debt off. So we requested it for that amount. It did not take long. We got it in, after we were approved, of course. We got it in our bank account within a matter of a few business days. And here's the goal. Here's the kicker. Once you get it in your account, you can't be tempted to use it for something else. Or even if you are tempted, you got to overcome that temptation to use that money for something else. Because the point of it is to pay off your credit card debt, right? And so we paid all our credit card debt off in full with that personal loan. Now, you do have loans, I believe, debt consolidation loan programs that I'm not sure if they pay it off for you, but one thing I have researched is that the account, your credit, if that debt consolidation loan program does it, then you may have to close your credit card accounts. But that's something that I would be aware of. I personally prefer that I just get the money in hand in our bank account and you let me pay off the credit card, because instead of a program paying it off or me having to potentially close the account, that could affect my credit score from the standpoint of my credit age. Because, for instance, my husband and I both have credit cards that are 16 plus years old, that being the oldest. And imagine if that account is closed after being paid off, that would drastically affect our credit age. And that can lower the score. But again, we just, through this personal loan, we just paid it off. And but the account is still open, which you can do that, pay it off, make sure it stays open by, maybe putting something on there on the card once or twice a year, just to make sure it stays open, but immediately pay it off. But anyway, that was the route we decided to take. And I'll tell you this, because it was very recent that we did this, I don't know I have not yet seen my updated credit score, but there's no doubt in my mind it will increase because that credit card debt is now gone. But I also want to share with you that yes, my husband and I's names are on both cards. Are on all of our cards. Both of our names are on all of our credit cards, and so therefore the debt was on both of our credit history. But now it'll be removed from both of our credit history. But guess who's the one who applied for the personal loan? It was my husband. So my credit history will look as if I completely paid off all credit card debt just from income. And so I once I get my updated score, I will share with you not my score, but the difference that it made, how much higher it went, because it will look as if I solely paid off credit card debt from income, which that can give you an idea if you were to choose that route, like if you were to choose the snowball method or anything like that, just to pay it off. It'll give you an idea, somewhat at least, without knowing all the details of my credit history. It'll give you an idea of how it increased my score. Now, in the scenario of my husband, where basically the credit card debt was replaced with a personal loan, you'll see how that affects his score, because then you have a new loan on his account. Even though we've gotten rid of the credit card debt, he now has a new loan. So we'll see how that affects his score, and I'll share with you the difference made. Again, not his actual score, but just the difference made. So I'm looking forward to sharing that update with you at some point in the future whenever we see our updated scores. But I hope this helped. Sometimes anyway, I hope it helped. But again, as I announced in the last announcement on yesterday, I will be going through a financial fast, personally, a financial fast. Our home, our household will, through by going through these 21 days, the 21-day financial fast created by Michelle Singletary. And again, I also posted in that particular video, I posted the Amazon link to purchase the book if you would like to go along with me. I also posted the YouTube links where the author herself introduced the fast as well as explain how it all began. But anyway, again, this is all about just wanting to share our journey with you, within the hopes that it helps you in even just a small way. But anyway, I pray that this has been helpful, and I also hope and pray that you have an awesome weekend, and I will see you next Friday.